How's everybody doing? Alrighty then. So today we kinda got some unexpected news, with Sony reportedly in talks to acquire Elden Ring dev's parent company, Kadokawa Corp. Includes FromSoftware and more manga control, and I'm like, what the hell is happening? And let's see. Update. According to Japanese newspaper Nikkei, negotiations between Sony and Kadokawa are in the early stages. Original story. Sony has reportedly entered talks with Elden Ring maker Kadokawa Corporation with a view to acquiring the company, Reuters claimed via two sources. Discussions are set to be ongoing, and if they are successful, a finalized deal could be signed within the coming weeks. The firm's stocks are estimated to be worth around $2.7 billion, of which Sony already owns 2%. If a deal came to fruition, it would see Dark Souls Bloodborne developer FromSoftware fall under the Sony banner, but there's far more to Kadokawa Corporation than that. The company's main operations relate to manga, books and film. Sony already owns significant anime distribution platforms like Crunchyroll and Funimation, so the acquisition would account for far more than just video games. Spike Chunsoft is also owned by Kadokawa Corporation, the studio behind titles like Danganronpa. I'm not mistaken, the both Sony whatever. I think this is the company that made Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, if I'm not mistaken, but whatever. This is the thing. I don't know if this is really a good move or not. It's not. I don't know for now, but in a way, I would kinda like more for Sony to put the money into the developers that they already have and invest in your studios and do more of your games instead of trying to buy other studios, because I think in a way it's not like that, but in a way I think that's the problem with Microsoft. They are so focused on buying so many studios and spending money on buying studios instead of just investing in the studios they already have, if that is making sense, because Sony already has Insomniac, Sucker Punch, Naughty Dog. They have a bunch of studios already. They bought the studio that made Concord, and it cost them it was a very big mistake on their part, and that money they could have invested in something else, just like this. I think it's going to be good for Sony in a way, because they can have the future Elden Rings or Dark Souls or whatever FromSoftware does in the future as exclusive to PlayStation, and that's a good move for them. But in a way, I would like more for them to put that money in the studios they already have, and invest and put more resources in their studios to have games released more faster, because the time they are taking from each game, I think it's a bit too long. Even this year, the only game PlayStation released this year was Astro Bot, and it's like, can't you, how in the hell don't you have more games to release? And Wolverine is another game that was announced 2 or 3 years ago, and they've shown nothing ever since. Just instead of buying more studios, just grab that money and invest in the studios you already have. I think that would be a better choice, but if they want to, go ahead. And as it says here, it's not only from software that they are buying more manga and anime and films and all of that, so I don't know, it could be good, it could be bad, we will see. And talking about FromSoftware, rumor, FromSoftware Classic getting the remaster treatment, give people what they want. In a way they are not. While Bloodborne fans continue to write in agony, it appears that Bandai Namco published FromSoftware developed modern classic Dark Souls 3 could be getting the remaster treatment. That is, if the rumor mill is set to be believed. This one comes to us by the way of insider Nick Baker, so take it with the appropriate amount of salt. Released them almost 9 years ago on the PS4, we could certainly see Bandai wanting to go back to the well, whether FromSoftware has time for that sort of thing these days is another entirely. This is the thing. I think Dark Souls is not from Sony. FromSoftware does the games for Bandai in Dark Souls, but Bloodborne is a Sony IP. So basically what we can say is that Sony is the one that is keeping Bloodborne from being remake or remaster, and I think that is just stupid. Players have been begging for years now for a remaster of Bloodborne, or at least a PC port for players on PC to play, or at least put an update to 60 FPS for PS5. I think that would be the ideal, but I guess Bloodborne will be locked to the PS4 until the end of times, I guess. And well, next we have some interesting news. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, now best-selling Pokemon game in Japan, let's read it here. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet have been available to play exclusively on the Nintendo Switch for a couple of years now. Despite the two games having issues with bugs, Scarlet and Violet have sold very well. In fact, a new update on sales of the game really show just how much of a sales success that Pokemon Scarlet and Violet have become. You see, Famitsu has reported that Pokemon Scarlet and Violet have surpassed 8.3 million copies sold in Japan. 8.3 million copies sold in Japan. With that, Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet combined have now become the best-selling Pokemon game ever in the region. Pokemon Red and Green were the ones that previously held that record, meaning that this is the first time in Pokemon history that this record has been broken. Jesus, Pokemon Red, so the best-selling Pokemon game until now in Japan were the first ones. Damn, that is kinda a feat, you know, a kind of a big, how do I say this? It's kind of, I don't know, man. The word I want to say is, it's not coming out. I don't know what else to say, but I'm kind of surprised that the best-selling ones were the first ones, but well, I guess Violet and Scarlet. And here's the thing, I think even with the troubles and the problems that Scarlet and Violet had, they did something that Pokemon fans have been waiting for decades now. They went full open world, full 3D open world, where you could see the Pokemons roaming around and you could decide which ones to battle and which ones to avoid, and that is something that people have been begged for decades for Pokemon games to have, and I think that is a big factor in Scarlet and Violet being so successful. And I finished the Violet this weekend and I really enjoyed it. I like it very much, and now I want to go into the DLCs. The only thing I don't like is this was the first set of games that didn't have all of the Pokemon from previous generations, and that even with the DLC they still don't have all of the Pokemons available, and that is the thing that I feel is a bit scummy, but I guess that didn't stop the games from becoming the best selling. And now let's end in kind of a bit of a surprise. The largely forgotten Need for Speed Unbound is still getting big updates on PS5. And man, I gotta be honest, I kind of forgot that this game was even out. Because I think since the PS2 and beginning of PS3 that I really don't have any interest in the Need for Speed games, because they kind of screwed most of them up. So even this one, I saw some people talking good things about it, but man, those anime effects that the game had, I know you could turn them off, but it looked weird, man. It looked very weird to me. We feel a bit sorry for Need for Speed Unbound. It launched back in December 2020 with almost no fanfare at all, despite being arguably the best game in the series in years. Still, while it's flown way under the radar, it's quietly been receiving great post-launch support all this time, with the next big update coming very soon. The Volume 9 update introduces Lockdown, a PvPE multiplayer mode inspired by Need for Speed Most Wanted from 2005. It's a sort of extraction mode where teams of 3 players compete against each other to complete contracts, break into lock-up areas, navigate the treacherous lockdown zone and secure the extraction truck. If you win, you'll be rewarded with new vehicles, all inspired by Most Wanted's blacklist. Yes, including the iconic custom BMW M3 GTR 2005. Also of note is that Lockdown brings the first ever motorbike in the history of Need for Speed with the BMW S1000RR 2019, helping you outmaneuver the cops and rival racers. That is very interesting, because Need for Speed never had motos, it was only cars, and now I'm kinda curious to see how this works. Volume 9 also has new playlists including motorbike only events and other challenges to conquer. On top of that is a new speed pass to work through with another new car to unlock. True if you have the premium tier. The update arrives on the 26th of November and you can find more info here. Will you be checking out Lockdown in Need for Speed? Okay, this is kinda, well, in a way they kinda have to innovate to push the games forward, but having bikes in the game, I think it's gonna be a bit weird at the beginning, but it could be good for the franchise moving forward. They can even do a full game with only bikes as the main focus of the game. I think that would be cool. Instead of cars, you could customize the bikes and roam around the cities and all of that. I think that would be cool to see, but well, I guess that is it for today. There's not, the big one was PlayStation, Sony trying to buy FromSoftware. Let me know down below what you think about that, if you think if it's a good idea or not. I still think they should invest that money in the studios they already have, but I guess it is what it is. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.